Good evening and welcome to Law Talk, the show that brings the Constitution, the law, and the events of today to you each month. Good evening and welcome to Law Talk, the show that brings the events of the news to you each month. Good evening, Mark. How are you doing and what are we talking about tonight?
Well, first we're going to talk about AB 1014. That's a new gun confiscation law passed in the state of California, and that went into effect on January 1st.
And are we talking about a restraining order that's directed at guns specifically, almost for no reason you can have your guns taken?
Well, what's interesting about this, it's modeled after the domestic abuse law, the 243, the VC 243, which is usually a felony. And what's interesting about that, that used to be if you got in a fight with your spouse, that was domestic abuse. And then it was if you had a lover or a girlfriend or a boyfriend. And then it became if you dated someone. And then it became basically coming within a couple hundred yards of somebody and you cause them anxiety. So basically anybody you cause anxiety now can get your gun taken away.
Well, you know what, Mark? I have anxiety. But does that mean that anything that I say or my sensitivities mean I can have guns taken away from you?
That's exactly right. And also, there's no due process. Anybody who has anxiety about anybody can go to a judge, have someone's guns taken away for 3 weeks, and there's no due process.
Well, wait a minute. When you say no due process, there had to be some process. Is it like a drop a dime and you lose your gun time, or what is it?
Well, the thing about it is, okay, what due process is, there's two types of due process, but the main one that people usually think about is being able to confront your accuser. And you're not able to confront your confuser. So
you're a confuser?
Your confuser, your compuser, your computers, whatever it is.
You mean your accuser?
It's your accuser, yeah. You can't confront your accuser. So basically, right. And I don't even know if this could be anonymous. You may never know who's accusing you.
Yeah, but wait a minute. So how does a judge even get it in front of him to have this happen?
Well, the police can do it, a family member, or if you go under domestic law, anybody who came within a few hundred yards could feel anxiety about you, and I think it might be anonymous because you don't get to face them.
Wait a minute, could this be a disgruntled sister?
It could be a disgruntled person you didn't tip.
Could be an aunt, nephew, niece, anyone?
But also,
grandchild?
But if you're going after domestic violence law, that's anybody that could possibly perceive you. In fact, someone might get anxiety by watching you on TV and then get your guns confiscated.
Well, wait a minute.
Or even if they heard about you third hand.
Well, wait a minute. This sounds like it's another excuse to confiscate weapons without due process and to violate the Second Amendment. And you know that where Second Amendment is what we are protected by in this country. So now they're making more administrative excuses to take weapons.
Well, here's how it works. Okay, so let's say eventually, remember the drug kingpin law?
Yes.
And they said, oh, you know, these guys make millions of dollars a year, and they've got yachts, and they've got Learjets, and they got mansions. So if you're convicted of being a drug dealer, right, we can take your mansion. Remember they passed that law?
Yes.
But what was the actual effect of that law?
Well, they confiscated a lot of goods with no proof of anything.
Well, what happens, like say one guy has one marijuana seed in his carpet, and they vacuum it up, and they get to take his car. As a matter of fact, they had so many cars they confiscated in Oakland, right, from like marijuana seeds, that the problem with cars is they depreciate so quickly that it costs them more to store the cars and auction them than they were worth. So basically, this is another one of those laws where they go, oh, this is a horrible thing. This is a domestic abuser with a gun, and he's going to kill his wife, or she's going to kill her husband. Of course, there's already laws on the books for that, right? But they use that as an excuse, and then they put in there, if you've recently bought ammunition, if you cause someone anxiety. So down at the bottom of the page, they can take guns from anybody. Just like they said, oh, it's drug kingpins. It's like the guy in, what was the movie in Florida?
Tony Montana.
Yeah, Tony Montana.
Hey, Tony Montana.
Introduce me to my new friend.
You don't trust me, Frank.
Don't ever, but anyway, the point I'm saying is they make this big splash like, oh, it's domestic abuse, blah, 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 blah. And then if you look at the fine print of the law, basically the government can turn anybody in, for absolutely no reason at all, with absolutely no due process. The state of California can take a gun from anybody that's in California.
I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be challenged.
And it should be challenged.
And in fact, I understand this law was signed in 2014, and it took this long to even implement it.
Well, what's interesting about this is that if you look at, some of our heroes, some of the great political heroes of our time. Look at Mao Tse-tung. Okay? Now, he confiscated guns, and he had a population of 200 million. And after he confiscated the guns, what did he do?
He wanted to kill off the people he didn't need.
What he did is he had 65 million people in China at the time, and they didn't agree with Mao, right? And so what he did, they threw human feces at them, they paraded them through the streets, they made them wear paper hats, they denounced them, they sent them to work camps where they starved to death, they broke their knees with bats, and then they shot them after they tortured them for a couple of years. And so that's generally why these kind of despots, whether it's Pol Pot or Hitler or Mao
Jerry Brown
or Obama, whoever it is, well, usually when a despot wants to eliminate, somewhere
dissent,
like say 40 or 50% of the population, this is the method they use, because this way they can go ahead and purge this thing. Now look at Stalin. How many political prisoners did he eliminate?
Wow, millions.
About 30 million.
30 million.
Okay. Pol Pot about 10 million. Okay, and Mao was the Mao was the hero of gun control. 65 million out of 200 million.
Yeah, well, that's not bad.
No, he's the hero, and he is the poster child for gun control. Is Mao, and he not only tortured people to death and broke their kneecaps, and humiliated them, and he didn't just shoot them. So I mean, the thing is, once they take your guns, they will torture you to death. And so in every country that they've done this kind of confiscation, we've had that kind of result.
Well, you know what? I hate to say it, but I'm sure Jerry Brown, as we look back at Governor Moonbeam from the 70s, had his little red book, Mao's little red book, with him. And I guarantee he still has one in his desk.
Who was the communications head for Obama? What did she say? Her hero was Mao Tse-tung.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Mao! He's such a good guy.
And these guys sit around and they mouth this Mao as mumbo jumbo, and people think it's cute because we're saving the puppies,
we're saving the country,
but,
the environment,
whatever it is.
We can twist Mao into the environmentalist of all time.
Well, the thing about Mao is that he wanted to eliminate anyone that was smart, not necessarily the intelligentsia, but anyone that was willing to confront authority.
Wasn't he making people that were like bricklayers be doctors?
Well, he had people who were actually, were very undeveloped mentally, and he made them mayors. And so basically the idea is have the mayors be someone with an IQ about 40, so the central government has complete control. Whoa. He killed off, of course, all the doctors and the dentists and the lawyers. Of course, some people wouldn't complain about that.
Nobody complained about the
school teachers.
That goes back to how many at the bottom of the sea.
Yeah, how many at the bottom of the sea? Water pollution. But then, so... Yeah, what do you do if you run over a lawyer? Back over him. But basically,
make sure he's gone.
If you look at Stalin, he killed all the smart people. They kill all the school teachers. They kill all the professors. They kill all the lawyers. They kill all the doctors. They kill all the dentists. They kill all the professionals. And that's...
Who does that leave?
Yeah, well, that leaves people that are...
The agricultural people.
Well, it leaves people who are...
The rice pickers.
No, it leaves people who do manual labor and willing to follow rote, but that don't do critical thinking. And so when you see this gun control poster child, you see Obama, you see Mao, you see Obama, you see Mao, and you go, poster child for gun confiscation and purging your political opponents. And it's a beautiful thing because, it just goes over and over and over again. It doesn't matter what happens. If a kid falls off a bicycle, it's gun violence, right?
Oh my God, it's gun violence.
Now what they say is 280,000 people in the last decade, right, have been killed by gun violence in the United States. Now, put aside that most of those were illegal gun owners and felons who wouldn't have a gun. That's not who they're attacking. They're attacking legal gun owners.
These are all legal gun owners, I know.
They're not doing anything again. It's illegal.
Because I guarantee you, anyone that gets charged with this law is somebody who has a family and has friends and owns a gun.
Well, not only that, they're legal gun owners. Now, the other point, because the other ones would already be, there's plenty of laws to cover the other ones, okay? But the point is that's 280,000. If you look at Mao, and you look at Stalin, you look at Pol Pot, and you look at Hitler, that comes to about 112, 120 million political prisoners. And these aren't people who are fighting. These are not people who are demonstrating.
These are the people of the
country. These are people that were grabbed out of their house at 4 a.m. while they were asleep with their families, okay? And so you've got, and that, if you prorate that, there was 2 billion on the planet then, so you got to do that times 4. So that's like 400 million, of course. So the 280,000 who've been killed in the United States in the last 10 years is less than 0.25%. It's not even a statistical rounding error. It's just ridiculous. I mean, the amount of people that the government has killed after they take away guns is is huge. It's like 99.999% compared to 0.0001% of gun violence between citizens on citizens. So anybody who says, oh, gun violence, oh, worry about this, forget about that. What you worry about is the government has guns and the people don't.
Well, that's the whole thing. And under this administration, they've armed the Environmental Protection Agency. They've
The
armed,
BLM?
The Bureau of Land Management. They've armed everybody with assault weapons, tanks, and the whole thing. So if the call goes out, it won't be just the cops in the corner. It won't be just the Army. It'll be anybody that carries a government badge under this administration.
Well, then let's also keep in mind that all these people are also, like with the IRS and the BLM, and
they're carrying guns too.
Yeah, okay, all these ATF, they all worked to fix the 2012 election, right?
Right.
So they actively fixed the last election. So basically, we're not in a republic anymore. We've been overthrown by a despot.
A despot and a dictatorship.
And so this has got nothing. This is an overthrown. Now we have, this dictatorship run by these gangsters.
And you know what the worst
part? And the same people who have the guns are the same people who overthrew the government.
But see, here's the thing. The only way these administrative agencies can even impose their strength on us is with guns.
Right.
Because people are tired of hearing the EPA tell me, oh, my water it doesn't belong to me anymore. It's a lake.
Well, the thing is, when you overthrow a republic, and what a republic is, and this Benjamin Franklin said, we hope you can keep this republic. This is not a democracy. This is not a republic, which means people have equal rights under the law. You don't have more equal rights because you're a victim, or you're more equal rights. It's equal rights.
Or you're a protected class.
Yeah, there's none of that. That's not in the Constitution. That's just nonsense.
That is nonsense.
That's all nonsense.
And unfortunately, this has been growing like some kind of...
Oh, wait a minute. You're a protected class.
Oh, my God, you're a protected class. That means you can't even say anything about them. Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid. Oh, my God.
Yeah, so
anyway, my God.
So I'm
tired of hearing this.
That's just nonsense. A democracy is mob rule, right? And especially when you wipe out, like in the last election, you wipe out 30 or 40% of your opponents.
Yeah.
And you don't let them even...
you do that by an administrative fiat,
right. So you don't even let them campaign or get involved in the vote. So it's easy to rig elections, and so that's why you have a republic. That's why you have equal rights under the law.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to leave equal rights at that one, but I think we should move on to our second subject, Mark. What is our second subject? I understand we have a visitor.
Oh, we're back.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so anyway...
Ali, welcome home.
Yeah.
Ali.
Ali, shaking the clock, man.
We
got some new clocks.
That's a new one.
Yeah, we got a new one. We got to get some new clocks.
I noticed it's with the fine
That's
workmanship.
straight from Iran. I mean,
in fact,
Syria.
You know the best part about this? The best part about this, it's matching colors.
Yeah, I always get Iran and Syria mixed up, but yeah, we're from Syria.
The main body itself. And by the way, you notice the fine work. Fine work.
Okay, so anyway, I got a new job besides making clocks and being an IRS navigator, explaining stuff to people who don't get it.
IRS navigator. Yeah, you got to help them through the way.
Well, because
are you armed, Ali?
A lot of people don't understand the usual. So anyway, but now I got a job at a bookshop.
Oh.
A bookstore, and it's a lot of fun.
What store is that?
Well, the thing about it is, I don't want to go into that, but we had a guy come in the other day, right? And he said, I want to buy Trump's new book. And I don't like Trump at all, right? Because I'm always shaker. Well, because
Wait
Trump.
a minute.
And so anyway, this is what I told him.
Don't you understand that we need a new man in the White House?
No, this is what I told the fellow. I said, look, he said he came in and he said, I want to buy Trump's new book, but I can't remember the title. You know what I told him?
What?
I said, get the heck out of here and never come back. You know what he said? He said, yeah, that's it. Yeah. So anyway, okay, moving right along. So the thing is, yeah, the Navigators...
That's actually a pretty good book.
Yeah, the Navigators...
It's on the top 10.
The Navigators... Okay, so, why don't you tell the audience, what's an ambulance chaser if you're a lawyer?
Well, an ambulance chaser has been referred to as an attorney that sometimes will go to a hospital and look for somebody that's been injured in an auto accident.
Follow the ambulance to the hospital.
And they follow the ambulance to the hospital, and then they're out there handing out their business cards, and they're hoping they can hustle up some business.
They sign people while they're sedated.
And they actually have in their pocket, they have attorney-client agreements, and they just fill in the names. Oh, what's your name? Oh, John Smith here, just sign at the bottom. I'll represent you. Now, that's an ambulance chaser.
So in the proud tradition of ambulances, we have Loretta Lynch, right?
Oh,
the new Attorney General, right? And what she did is she put out a call and said, like, anybody who makes a claim that you've been discriminated against if you're a Muslim, we'll investigate and we'll get it.
Oh, we'll do it immediately.
So they put out this call, and the Navigators had answered, and there's actually a fellow who answered, what was his name? He was...
You're not talking about Mr. Moore.
Moore, yeah, Moore.
Yeah, Moore. But wait a minute, Mr. Moore answered all right.
Yeah,
but how did he answer?
He answered Loretta Lynch's call. And so there's a call out, okay, we need these cases. It's like an ambulance chasers thing, like if anybody, you know,
It gets discriminated against. If you're Muslim, heaven forbid, time out.
So anyway, so Mr. Moore, what's his first name?
I believe I have it right here.
Yeah.
Daniel or... I got him right
Nathaniel
here.
or something like that. Anyway, Mr. Moore answered Loretta Lynch's call, and basically, now why don't you explain to the audience what manufacturing a case is?
Well, manufacturing a case is when you know the details of what you're looking for in an investigation, and what you want to do is you want to establish that in this case, under this administration, it's mostly that it was racist, that it was done against a protected class, and that somebody that's on the opposite side, normally white Christian,
Well, infidels,
an infidel,
Well, it could be
actually
Jews,
did
could
it.
be Jews,
so
or,
it could be anybody, but they have to be white, and they have to be an infidel, they have to be non-Muslim in
so
this case.
basically what is, Loretta put this call out, this ambulance, she basically put the ambulance siren on and said anybody that wants to demonize an infidel, we will make famous and rich, right? And so Moore answered that call.
Oh, his name is Gary Nathaniel Moore.
Gary Nathaniel Moore. What he did is he was...
But that's not his Muslim name.
Yeah, but he used to pray at this mosque 5 times a day
In Houston.
For many years, and then he burned it down.
And then, you know what? And then it was like,
And then
oh
it was
my
like,
God!
oh, the infidels are burning down mosque. So this is
It's a Christian.
And so, okay, we got ambulance chasing, we got manufacturing a case, and also when the police start a riot, what do you call it? They call it creating emergency.
Oh my God!
So we got
heaven forbid it. You know what it is?
So we
It's
got
a protected class.
We got Loretta Lynch manufacturing evidence, manufacturing cases, ambulance chasing, and now she's creating an emergency.
And it's an emergency. You got to protect all the Muslims.
In the proud tradition of the sleaziest thing a lawyer can do, Loretta Lynch is out there in the forefront.
And
so
you know what?
We got to give her a
She's the
hand.
Attorney General.
We got to
and
give her a
you know
hand.
what? Just when I thought nobody could top Eric Holder, here it comes.
No, I mean, this is going to make lawyer jokes funnier for the next century. I mean, you've never had
You don't want to
sleazier
yeah,
lawyer than
well,
Loretta.
there's actually some better ones. It's if you want to get into the prosecution of those police officers by Mosby.
But anyway, this is really sleazy. So, and if you go on, there's so this thing is like they're manufacturing the cases. So everywhere they're looking, trying to manufacture a case. So that's a real hobby of some real sleazebag attorneys, and Laura Leonard really fits that pattern. And so here when they first heard about this, oh, this is infidels discriminating on Muslims, burning down things. But the police did some real police work. But what happened?
Oh, wait a minute.
Well, wait a minute. But
I heard the administration's
Okay,
response.
wait a minute. No, here's what the thing. But the President Obama addressed this issue of Islamic terrorism in his State of the Union speech last night. Did you hear it?
Yes, I did.
And here's some of the really strong things he said. He condemned Islamic terrorists for cutting off the heads of infidels. Here, let's listen for a second.
Wait a minute. Is this what I heard?
Yeah, well, he's giving it to him.
This is what we heard last night on
He's really giving it to him.
State of the Union. He's really laying into Muslims.
He's laying into those guys.
He's laying into the Muslims.
Okay, well, what about, here's Obama criticizing them for burning blasphemers of Muslim. Let's listen to that. Oh, he's going after him.
You know what I
He's
also
really going after him.
I also heard him about the 10 sailors that were confiscated illegally by the Iranians. What was his commentary?
Well, he's really digging into those guys, I'll tell you.
And you know, I heard
John
Kerry was talking about it as well. What did John Kerry have to say? He was Secretary of State.
Wow, he's really going after those guys.
That's pretty rough.
I'm glad we have someone looking out for us.
I really am so glad
And then
that
what
the
about,
administration is
what
looking
about
out
that
for
little
all
German,
the normal.
what about the 7-year-old girl that was in Germany, in Cologne, and the host family, and then the asylum seeker, the Muslim asylum, stabbed her with a knife? What did he say about that? Anyway.
What did he say about it?
I think it's here. Yeah, there you go. Oh, man, that's a strong statement there.
You know, wow, you know what? You're right. It is a strong statement.
What about in Cologne, where the 375 guys at the
raped a bunch of girls.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah. You know what? What else do you do?
No, listen what he said in the State of the Union.
What did he say about?
Oh, he's after those Islamic terrorists, that's for sure. He's going after him. He's tough on him.
He's so rough on that.
Oh, man.
I understand that
he's such a strong guy.
He made such commentary on that.
Wow,
That's
listen
right.
to that. He's really going after him.
You know what's interesting? You can almost hear a pin drop.
Anyway, so that's one thing. He's really making a strong statement there. And there you go. Okay.
But anyway, let's...
So that's the State of the Union.
Okay, well, the only issue that I have about Mr. Moore is they caught him. And they
Well, the
found that
police
he
caught
was
him.
actually
But
Muslim.
But notice the feds didn't catch him.
The feds didn't catch him
The
because they
local
were
police
looking
caught
for Christian
Well, no, but listen.
infidel.
No, but look what happened to the San Bernardino thing. Another Christmas attack. This was a Christmas burning.
Oh, by the way, this was
It
on
all happened
Christmas
on
Day.
Christmas. All happened on Christmas.
Christmas.
The shooting in San Bernardino.
Merry
The
Christmas!
FBI, there was 3 guys, and then the FBI said there's only 2. And we killed them, so there's no witnesses.
There's no witnesses.
It sounds like the Kennedy assassination to me.
Well, anyway, I think
So,
we should move on to our third subject tonight.
Forget about the feds.
Wait
The
a
feds are
minute.
not going to find
Wait
anything.
A minute. I got a question.
Local
Are
cops.
we talking about Jason Bourne?
Jason Bourne. Okay, Jason Bourne was the guy who felt so conflicted that he decided to overturn the CIA in that movie, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And so here we got Bowe.
Bowe. Are we
And,
talking about Bowe Bergdahl?
Bowe, and now the thing about Bowe, I understand from kind of like the gossip within the IRS navigators that actually Obama has a little guy crush on Bowe because, you know,
I thought he had it on his dad.
Yeah, he really likes Bowe, and because Bowe did like stuff in Afghanistan was pretty extraordinary. Like, what did he do?
Well, first of all, he deserted his troops, and he created a search for him that lasted and killed 5 to 7 military operatives.
So wait a minute, how
searching.
did 5 Americans get killed because of Bowe Bergdahl?
Because he walked away. He deserted his unit, which was on a basic mountaintop in Afghanistan.
Right.
But his comrades said that he actually went out to get high and just never came back.
No, but weren't the 5 or 7 soldiers who went searched for him and they were killed?
They were
searching for him?
killed. And
they
you
were
know
trying
what?
to, they were trying to
Here's the
rescue
trick
him.
part. They were killed in ambushes by improvised explosives.
IEDs,
It's
right.
like somebody had told.
Wait a minute. You mean like Christmas presents?
Just like a Christmas present.
present.
Merry Christmas!
Yeah.
And actually, you know what the whole deal was? It was like somebody was guiding
Yeah, right.
the Taliban. Actually the El Nostra Front. Somebody was
Right.
guiding them
Right.
on how they
So
search.
basically, what you're saying is that Bowe takes off for one reason or another. He kind of changes the story a few times, but he
over and over again.
Bergdahl took off a couple of times. I mean, he had some stories, but he took off from his unit, which is a combat unit. It's in war. It's a combat
It's in
unit.
war.
He's not in.
He's deserting
war.
war.
He's not in R&R.
No, he's not in Florida having
Yeah, that's not R. So he's in a combat mission.
mojitos.
He takes off, right? And 5 or 7 of his
comrades
go out to rescue
U.S.
him.
troops.
Rescue him, right?
Right.
And they end up dead by the
They
Taliban.
end up dead.
Okay, and so that's kind of one of his great accomplishments here.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Jason Bourne,
Yeah.
when he was trying to come back in after he'd been on deep cover,
Right.
he didn't really cause a bunch of men to be dead.
Yeah.
But in fact, he was trying to get back in.
But
and so when he
then
compares himself to
Bo-
Jason
yeah.
Bourne, I wonder, you know, Jason Bourne
Well, I
wasn't
think he-
put before a military tribunal for a general court-martial either.
But I also think that whoever's Bowe's lawyer came up with a pretty good story on that one.
Well,
That's a
you
pretty
know
good
why
story.
he
That's
uses
a good
Jason Bourne? Because everyone loves Jason
everyone
Bourne.
loves Jason Bourne.
But
Yeah.
wait a minute, we're forgetting one
plays
part.
on the guilt, yeah.
Let's talk about this. He's being charged with desertion and endangering fellow soldiers, which means, unlike a misdemeanor, if he's convicted of both of these, especially endangering other soldiers, he can get life in prison.
Yeah, but this is a little incongruous because wasn't Bowe's dad and his mom honored in the Rose Garden by President Obama?
Yes, and funny enough, we weren't told, but his dad's Muslim.
But the point of the matter is, they were honored in the Rose Garden. Now, how many Marines or sailors has Obama honored in the Rose Garden besides Bowe?
0.
Oh, really?
That's right.
So the only one he's ever honored in the Rose Garden, which is the most prestigious thing in the White House, is a
actually
deserter.
on the face of the earth,
Is a deserter.
is a deserter.
Okay, and now, but how do we get that deserter back?
Well, that's funny. That's funny you should ask that. There was 5 top Taliban generals
Right.
in Gitmo, Guantanamo Bay, and funny enough, without telling Congress, which was totally unconstitutional, magically they flew away. And then Bowe drove up in a white pickup truck and got dropped off.
No, but wait a minute. These 5 generals in Guantanamo, I mean, they were nice guys. I mean, of course, they burned infidels who blasphemed to death.
murdered U.S. troops.
No. They burned infidels to death in cages. They chopped off people's heads. They ordered the rape of infidel women and children. Okay.
What else are you supposed to do if you're out for a good time and you're Islamic
And they
terrorist?
did IEDs that killed American troops. But weren't they tortured in Gitmo?
Oh my God! Yeah,
No, they didn't get to see that.
You know
No,
what
but
the
they
worst
couldn't see
part
the
was?
TV shows
You
they
know why
wanted.
they didn't get the TV shows?
Oh my God, they didn't get
Al
TV
Jazeera.
time. They didn't get TV
You know what
time.
the problem was?
They
They got fed, special health diets.
Well, wait a minute. Didn't they get?
They got to play soccer. You know, they built a $10 million
No,
soccer
but weren't
field.
they tortured in Gitmo?
Oh yeah, they were tortured.
I mean, did they have
because
their?
it was hot.
No, wait a minute. Were they burned alive?
Oh no.
Did they get their heads chopped off?
No heads
Were
flew
they
my way.
raped?
They were not raped.
Well, wait a minute. Then how were they tortured?
Well, the funny part about that was they were tortured because they had to play soccer with their buddies.
Oh.
Yeah, they
Were
had.
they-
Oh, you know what the
No,
worst
they
part
were
is?
because they didn't get first pick.
They didn't get first pick.
Oh,
They
my
didn't
God, that's
play
terrible. That's
picky
terrible.
choosy.
Oh,
They all
my
got
God.
assigned teams. Okay, that's what's wrong.
Oh my God!
You know that
Those
the
evil
average terrorist
infidels
put on 20 pounds?
Hey, no wonder you got to chop off the heads of all those infidels.
Hey, you
They're
gotta
making
cut
them
that.
they don't get first pick.
You know what?
Terrible
The
deal.
first thing they said was, "Oh, I want soccer pick." That's all over.
Okay, so these guys who chopped off people's heads, burned them alive,
Burn them alive.
raped people,
people.
They were being tortured because they didn't get the right.
No, they got the wrong hummus.
They got the wrong hummus. Okay, yeah, it was
Okay,
terrible.
that's kind of where all that
No
is.
wonder we had to let him go.
Yeah, we had to let him go. Had to send him back.
those
But by
infidels
the
are
way, we
terrible.
got Bowe.
Oh, we got Bowe.
We got Bowe.
Oh, we got Bowe.
And by the way, Bowe almost got released. And by the way, he got an honorable discharge, and he got back pay for 5 years.
Oh yeah, he
had to get Bowe that back pay.
No, Bowe was just about to walk.
And Bowe was about to walk,
He's just
but
about to
then,
walk.
funny enough, a new general came in.
Well, I think this general was probably not afraid of getting bumped off like the last one.
Well, like you mean you mean the whole Joint Chiefs that were bumped off
were
on
bumped.
this administration?
Yeah,
They were fired,
Yeah, right,
or
they're fired.
they were asked to retire.
Well, I think also the
you
generals.
mean the ones that talk back to the president?
The ones that talk back to this president, I think, are afraid of being assassinated.
Well, the worst part is, they're afraid of being set up for some kind of blackmail like
Well,
Petraeus, General
yeah.
Petraeus. You
Yeah.
know what he had? He had one email.
Well,
email.
His mistress saw his calendar.
my God.
Oh, it's all over. It's not like 30,000 emails.
It's not 30,000 emails.
1,200 of them were
And
classified.
by the way, the funny part about that, there's emails talking about how you change the email heading so it doesn't look like it's top secret.
Plus the article, like what to do if you want to destroy all your emails.
Yeah, what do you do? Yeah, the article is in the email. How do you destroy your
nothing
emails?
happens there. And Lois Lerner, nothing happens there.
Lois Lerner, nothing here to look.
Rigging the election.
Rigging the
destroying
election,
thousands,
getting rid of the Tea Party,
yeah.
allowing, investigating all
But
the
Petraeus,
501(c)(3).
oh,
Oh, Petraeus!
Oh.
You know why? Because General Petraeus knew too much.
Well, because he wanted to fight instead of surrender.
Yeah, and he know what else he said?
Well, he was on basically Obama and Petraeus on two different sides. Obama's not against the war on terror, he's just on the other side.
He's on the other side.
He's on the other side. That's
and
all
that's
it's
funny, because we don't want to get into it, but it's funny how the Iranian deal.
Oh, the 150 billion. Tomorrow they get 150 billion bucks. And what do? They
party.
They grab 2 patrol boats.
Yeah. Well, you know why they
patrol
did that? Did you know
Just
that?
to throw sand
Wait a
in
minute,
our
you've heard
eyes.
of Valerie Jarrett, right?
Yeah, well, she's my favorite.
You know that Valerie
Islamic
Jarrett, that
terrorist.
little rat woman that's Obama's puppet master?
Yeah, she's an Islamic terrorist. Come on.
Oh, come on. She's Iranian.
She's an Islamic terrorist.
How many times have you seen that in the news? Do you know why Obama is so pro-Iranian?
Well,
because his little right-hand Muppet is actually Iranian.
Well, we don't really know.
We don't know that. It's only a
We
coincidence.
really don't know why.
She was born and raised in Iran.
We really don't know why. The guy who toppled the U.S. government.
Let's talk about that 150 billion. What are we doing with that?
That's going to be tomorrow. 2 days.
That's going to be our next.
How many